Hi, Hannah, nice to see you.
And you, how are you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, keeping my energy levels up with the sunshine.
Good, yeah, and I love the look of your office today. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. Office slash dining room slash shoe storage. Yeah, I think uh, when you invite people into your home, I think it's important that you get a bit of a sense of personality and maybe about what you do. So I've got, art, obviously, because that's what I do, but I am quite quirky. So it's
Yeah,
not a sterile background at all.
not at all, no, like mine, which is all white. So, yeah, so let's talk about you. So, introduce yourself to our audience if you can, please.
So I'm Katie and I'm the director of Art in Offices. I'm also a bit of a history buff and my favourite cheese is manchego.
Oh, I didn't know that. So, I'm a trained cheese expert. So, cheese is like a topic. We won't talk about it today, don't worry, everybody, but we could talk about that for a long time by the sounds of it. So tell us more about Art in Offices and what you do. It's your own company. So tell us what you do for your clients. How do you support your clients?
So I set up Art in Offices in 2012 because I had a few temping jobs in offices that were just very sterile, lots of white walls, and they made me very unhappy, having gone from an art school environment where everything's quite quirky and enriched, then into offices. I could feel my energy slowing down. I felt bored, and I'd look at these walls and think, I know people whose work would look amazing on these walls. And then I just had this epiphany moment one day that's what I should do.
Yeah.
And so I did. So I started with obviously the businesses that I knew through my parents' network and the artists that I knew from art school. And it's just grown from there really through referrals. And it's the concept has changed from supporting artists in the very beginning through to supporting artists, but mostly people in offices.
Mhm.
There's a lot of research out there that says artwork increases wellness by 42% and productivity by 35%, which is actually quite staggering. So when you just enrich your workspace with plants and art, you increase happiness, you reduce anxiety, you increase people's willingness to be at work, you decrease sick days and depression and all of these things. So that is my USP now. It's the reason I do this, is to make people happier at work.
I love that. I love that. And I am literally sitting here with white walls around me and one piece of artwork, which is a painting of my dog that someone gave me, thinking I need to dress this room to give me more motivation and happiness. Because this is a new build, so we're white walls everywhere. So yeah, we definitely need you and your help to make it look more like your office. It's fantastic.
Well, I have spent a lot of time over the last year helping people curate their Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah.
I've worked with companies who wanted to gift their staff things. So we set up art vouchers and rotating subscriptions so that companies who wanted to engage with their staff could do that through us. But I've also done lots of one-to-one meetings with people who just realised, like you, that when people see their Zoom background, they actually haven't got anything except, a candle or some flowers, which is fine. It's which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But you've got to think that now people are being invited into your home. They need a sense of you as a person to get to know you and relax with you. You could be an accountant, a lawyer, an office manager, but people are now in your house a little bit. So it's nice to get to know you and people relax and ease into that.
Yeah.
So yes, I've sold people prints and paintings and rented people lovely things for their backgrounds.
Yeah.
It was all a bit temporary the last year, wasn't it? So I set up
So
temporary services to help people out.
Yeah, that subscription services sounds fab, and the vouchers. So tell us a bit more about that and how you kind of overcome the typical COVID thing, because clearly you were supporting offices before and that perhaps dropped a bit when COVID hit.
Yes, yeah, last year was difficult because no one was in their offices and everyone's home became their offices. We started working from home and living at work. So Rishi Sunak, obviously, he set up that £26 a month tax break for people working from home. So we set up a £25 voucher so that offices could use that tax break and gift their staff that voucher. And they come in other denominations as well. And we also started an online print shop so that people could use those vouchers and buy affordable artwork that starts at £40 to put in their Zoom background.
Yeah.
We also started rotating art subscriptions so that people could either rotate those prints or they could choose something a bit more special, like a lovely painting, and just have it for 3 months in their background whilst they don't know whether they're going back to the office or staying at home.
Yeah.
So we did quite a lot of COVID pivots.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So tell us more. So we've mentioned office management there, and I didn't know you were in offices and that was your background. But it would be great to find out more about how you work with office managers and what perhaps you enjoy about that as well.
I think office managers are the best people in an office to work with because they're the gatekeepers. They know what the staff are thinking.
Yeah.
They get a sense of the office all the time and people's moods, and they have to translate that to the big bosses, don't they? So, and usually they're creative people who actually have the ideas. You know, they'll come to me like, I've had this idea, I think we need some art in our office. They're on board immediately, and their job for me is to relate that to the bosses. And I think because a lot of office managers are women, they just get that sense of the soft services being really important, the art and the plants and the snacks, you know, these things enrich our lives at work and they make us happy.
Yeah.
I think the big bosses, who are generally male, I'm not going to stereotype, don't always see that. But I think when you throw at them those statistics, you know, the increase in productivity and wellness, then they start to realize, actually, yes, investing a small amount in our office environment, which is the office manager's idea, will actually make us more productive and make people happier. And I think that's what bosses should be focused on, especially now, going back to work.
Yeah.
People have anxiety about going back to work at the moment, don't they?
They do, yeah.
So, yeah, office managers are the best.
Well, I couldn't agree more, but I'm biased. So because that's the thing, and we talk about it a lot in our platform, in the membership, and in all the training and coaching we do, is that you're creating an environment that is meant to work so that the employees can come in and work as productively as possible. And there's so much talk about this, you know, making your environment at the office even more productive and even more friendly and warm and collaborative and so on. So I think you're right. I think there's certain stats where plants, flowers and art is concerned that can very easily do that for you without really having to make too much effort and song and dance about it, or too much of spend as well. So yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do the big refit. You can just add these little touches.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, super. So what's your top tip? I'm an office manager. I've never looked at art in the office before, in the sense of getting anything in or procuring it. I have no idea about art at all, which is quite true for me anyway. Where do I start and what do I do?
So I think my top tip would be that try and take the subjectivity out of it and try and take people's personal taste out of it. What I do with companies is get to know them, the company. So what are your brand values? What is the message that you want to put across to your staff and clients? When clients walk through the door, what's that first impression you want to give them? So I'll often ask people to give me buzzwords. You know, are you a law firm perhaps? And do you want that first impression to be, this is a safe pair of hands, they're trustworthy but cultured? Or are you a tech firm? In which case, when people walk through the door, maybe you want them to think, you know, oh, this is the vision of the future. They're very avant-garde. This is, you know, they're cultured and knowledgeable and quirky. And I think that what you put on the wall will reflect that. So the law firm might want something that looks like a Rothko or a Jackson Pollock, or maybe even Picasso-esque, you know, it gives you that Tate modern husband working from home. Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's real life.
It is. So something that looks like it's been in the Tate modern will give you that feeling. Whereas the tech firm might want something, I don't know, metal and neon and pink and very, very shiny or very futuristic looking. And, you know, that's what gives people that sense when they walk in that office. So that's where I start. And obviously people don't really know what budget it is they need to spend. It's first conversations are usually investigatory. So I always give my clients three quotes, bronze, silver and gold level, so that the people can just work out roughly where they want their spend.
Yeah, I like that.
I always give people mock-ups as well. So after I've been in and measured and taken photographs, every space will have a mock-up so that you can see what it looks like in advance, because it can be difficult to visualize what your space is going to look like when you just see a list of paintings given to you. So I do like to help people visualize. And it's an ongoing conversation. There's no finite, this is right answer. Obviously, we give our clients 3 options as well to make it easy on them to choose things. They can buy artwork if they think they know this is it, this is us, then they can rent it long term, which for us means 12 months, or they can rent and rotate as well, which is like a subscription. It's one set fee per month, includes all of the admin, logistics and shipping fees. And so you've got the option there to keep refreshing the space as well every 3, 4 or 6 months. So it's just very flexible. And, you know, obviously all of those things can be mixed as well.
Yeah, I love that. And art is such a conversation. In the last sort of office I worked in before I set up the company, we had, it was a very old private German investment bank. So there was a lot of, you know, greys and blacks and whites in there, and nothing particularly pretty. Some of it was quite bizarre as well, I have to say. But it was always a topic of conversation, because particularly the bizarre ones. If I was booked into that certain meeting room, I think it was number 12, if I was going into number 12 with someone that hadn't been to the office before, or hadn't been in that room with me before, you could guarantee they were going to talk about that particular picture, because it was kind of nude and kind of bizarre and a bit twisted, and, you know, and I would just end up saying, I have no idea why, where, how that picture ended up in here, but it's a topic of conversation. So, and it can do that. It can do that to colleagues, it can do that to guests, but I think you're right, and that's so interesting about the kind of stripping it back to personal taste and going with and trying to find those keywords that are, I suppose, part of your culture and your brand, like you say. So
yes,
really
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah, you've got to put the company culture on the walls, for the staff's benefit as much as visitors. But in your case, I think at your office, I think what I would have done is put a little plaque or maybe a newsletter type thing in every office just to explain each artwork.
Yeah.
So that you can have that conversation and actually work out
know what's going on.
What's in the background.
Yeah, that would have been handy.
It's interesting you say it though. I mean, at the moment, I'm using art as a catalyst to bring people back to the office. So I'm working with office managers and building managers at the moment who are dressing the reception spaces. And then we're doing things like virtual studio visits with the artists, or the artists will come in and talk, lunchtime lectures and like modeling with Play-Doh, but just at lunchtime for some mindfulness. Yeah. These all, you know, they're complementary extras that we add in for our clients, just because art shouldn't just be on the walls. People should have the opportunity to actually use it and do some. And yeah, it's proving very popular for wellness weeks at the moment.
I bet, yeah, that's really good to know that, you know, because when you think of wellness weeks, you think, oh, we'll get in maybe a masseuse and someone to do some yoga, and there's some and all of these things have their place and they work. But actually, that's a really nice avenue to explore as well. Is this kind of, you know, because there's that books for adults, right? That are out there for adults to actually just scribble and draw in and things like that, because it's really good for our minds. So it makes sense. Okay, so to wrap up then, what would your advice be to any office managers who are now looking at the hybrid model going forward and how they can incorporate that in perhaps both spaces?
I think dressing the space is obviously quite important, because you want to welcome staff back to a nice space that they feel productive in and happy, even if they're only there 2 or 3 days a week. But when they're at home, I think you maybe utilise the gift vouchers so that they can feel like they've been gifted something that is also art. You know, it reflects the office, but it's also at their home, so they get in that mindset. And I think the events are quite a good one, you know, for keeping people feel like they're in a collaborative team. You know, you can do the virtual studio visit whether you're working from home or you've been in the office, and you know, we can do things like Hunger Games versus Art Attack in real life or virtually as well, using Zoom and breakout rooms. So yeah, the hybrid model is going to be an interesting one going forwards, but I think it's when people are at home, giving them that little taste of office so that they still feel like they're in work mode.
Yeah, I love that. So our members and anyone watching this who has the responsibility for staff wellness, HR people, office managers, building managers, can come and talk to you not just about art on the walls in their offices, but actually some really interesting, unique and creative ways to engage their staff, improve their wellness programs, cover events virtually. There's a whole plethora of things that you do centered around the creative area and the creative life in work.
Oh yes, absolutely. For me, creativity equals wellness, and whether that's just for work or an event, it's all the same. Keeping people happy, and that's what I like to do.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for talking to me for the 15 minutes with, and yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been lovely to catch up and see your beautiful, brightly coloured home as well, Katie.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's been really a pleasure to chat.
Speak soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.